Hey guys, I'm back, but this time I'm gonna do Black Canary. Yay! You guys sent me so many requests for her, so let's get right into it. For those who don't know, her real name is Dinah Drake, and Dinah Drake was actually introduced to us in the All Stars comic book series, issue number 42, for those who ever want to take a look at her first appearance. Now, she was actually raised by a teen mom, and of course, you know, I'm talking about MTV Teen Mom. Her mom was having a difficult time. She found raising a child at her age just too difficult. So what did she do? She sends poor Dinah to go live in a foster care system. And Dinah is going to need Dr. Phil, child, because she was like, damn, why my mom left me? Why she didn't want me? Was it because I was a bad child? So she actually was like, well, shit. If my mom left me because I was bad, I guess I'm just going to be bad. So she actually runs away from the foster care system, and she finds herself in Gotham City just running the streets. At this point, your girl is a runaway, and she becomes Gotham City's new street gangster. She just out here just trying to survive, thugging it and bugging it or whatever. And you actually see a significant scene where she's eating a slice of pizza, and she gets approached by a man who notices this like dirty girl, dingy looking girl eating food like she ain't never eat before, and he decides to take her in. His name is Desmond, and why he's significant is because he actually offers her a place to stay in his dojo slash karate studio, because he's actually an instructor and very skilled on hand-to-hand combat. And while she was working for him, I guess you could say cleaning up around the studio, she actually took an interest in what he was teaching. So of course Desmond started to notice, and he offered to train her, and he trains her so good she actually becomes a lethal weapon, y'all. And of course, Desmond, being a good man, taught her how to read, write, and make sure she had an education. So now we see Black Canary and Desmond living this like almost like father-daughter relationship type of life, and your girl is happy. She finally found herself a home. But like DC, there is no damn happy endings, because we later find out that Desmond actually has cancer, and this devastates Black Canary. I mean, by the time DC's done with their characters, they gonna need some damn Dr. Phil for real. So we see Black Canary actually going on a walk to kind of like clear her mind, and she comes across this man who's being attacked. Well, we later find out he was being attacked by a government agency, and your girl, of course, put up her fight, but she had a little bit of struggle, but it got her noticed by the head ringleader. His name is Lynch, and he offers her a job with the government agency. She was like, I don't know, boo, I gotta think about that. But when she returns to her home where Desmond's at, the house is actually burnt down and Desmond died. At this point, Dinah's like, bruh, I just lost everything I had. All right, Mr. Lynch, let's go on to your little government training place. So she goes on to actually work for this local group of government agencies that's just basically trained to kill. Now, during her time there, she actually meets a man named Kurt, and Kurt becomes a little secret boo thing. You know, they be winking at each other, throwing little kisses subliminally, you know, like, I love yous across the room. And during the training, they actually have to undergo genetic experiments. So her and Kurt actually support each other through this excruciating pain and process. And when she wakes up from one of the experiments, she finds herself in so much pain, she lets out a scream that shatters the glass of the entire building. And then when Kurt wakes up, he was like, well, what happened to me? I ain't got no powers. But we later find out he actually has telepathy. So Kurt becomes special to her because, number one, they got married, and number two, his telepathy helps control her fierce screaming voice, because she had no control over it at that time. Now, when we actually see them go on in the comic book, of course, they're completing missions together, but they come across this one mission against Pandora that they found very difficult, and they were actually losing the battle. So Black Canary lets out a scream so loud, it ends up killing practically everyone. And unfortunately, that was including Kurt, and she never got to say goodbye to Kurt because the agency made them abort that mission so quick. So your girl was like, I'm fucking done. So she moves to Tennessee, where she actually works at the Iceberg Casino, where she meets Starling, who gives her the name Black Canary. Now, working at the casino, she actually comes across Batgirl, who was on a mission to take down her bosses. And of course, Black Canary and Starling was like, hold up, you got to get past this first. So they get into this huge fight, like boom, bam, pow, poof, smack, slap, all of that. And Batgirl stops the fight and was like, hold up, you do know your bosses is dirty, right? So Black Canary and Starling was like, hold on, we are on the same mission too. We for the good, we not for the bad. So they decided to join a group, and you know what that group was called? Birds of a Prey. And those were the 3 starting members of it. And of course the group got bigger as time went on, and they was some badass females, y'all. She was like, you know what, Birds of a Prey, it was cool rocking with y'all, but it's time for me to do my own thing. So she actually goes on to move to Seattle. And when she moves to Seattle, she actually adopts her badass look right here. You know, that leather jacket, the fishnets, the boots. Perfect. So when she goes on to Seattle, she actually meets her boo thing. You know who that is? Green Arrow. Her and Green Arrow just become one of the cutest and deadliest couple, and they go on to, you know, start their own little team. And she finally gets control of her voice, and when she finally gets control of her voice, she actually gets a job offering from the Justice League. But you know, your girl, she like to do her own thing. She run by her own rules, because you know, she from the streets of Gotham City, y'all.